What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Bridging the Gap podcast. I appreciate you all for stopping by. Things are absolutely fantastic. Let's run down with a prep update, with an off-season update, because I haven't been on here on my own in probably like a month or so. Obviously, we've had AJ Morris on the podcast, the last one, and we had TM Cycles a couple of times. So I'm back to just listening to my beautiful voice. If that is what you find beautiful, then I'm here. I'm here to serenade you with my voice. So I pretty much decided I'm going to compete next year in August, September, and October. Obviously, October being the finals of most things, natural bodybuilding, and non-tested events. So I'm going to be aiming to be absolutely shredded by August, September, which means kind of April, May time is when we're going to start winding into prep season, which is amazing. So probably like 10 months from now. And it gives me all kinds of excitement. I'm sort of sick of eating now. I'm eating so much food. I'm currently on about 5,800 calories a day, 750 grams of carbohydrates on training days. My God. And my body is struggling to put on weight, guys. With metabolism, I get a lot of questions about, like, how do I eat this much and not get too fat? Metabolism is adaptive. And that goes both ways. As you come down, your metabolism adapts very quickly. As you come up, your metabolism is very adaptive. So when we talk about a maintenance, how much do you go above maintenance? Maintenance changes. Maintenance changes every single time, or every single month. Like maintenance is going to change if you're consistently coming up or consistently coming down. Things are going to become more efficient. My body is super efficient at moving this 750 grams of carbs around, and it doesn't really have any trouble with that because I've just built myself up over time. And allowed my metabolism to adapt alongside higher intensities of training, progressively overloading my expenditure. Because if I'm doing more volume, I'm doing more reps, I'm doing more weight, I will be burning more calories, therefore requiring more calories. Therefore, the more calories you put in, the more exercise you do, the higher your metabolism goes. And actually, that is how you can fix a broken metabolism. If you're one of these people, sorry to go completely off tangent here, you know how this podcast goes. If you're one of these people who does a lot of cardio, or maybe you're a manual worker, and you've got 20,000, 25,000 steps a day, and you're not eating very much, you often see this in older people because they kind of just eat how they feel, and they don't feel that hungry that often. So 3 light meals a day, possibly two slightly heavier meals a day, and you're doing lots and lots of exercise. Like, the way to be able to eat more and to be able to feel better, look better, have a better metabolism is to just kind of gain muscle, progressively overload, and just slowly add food in. And adding that food in as fuel will really, really help. Just boost things up, and you'll notice the difference. You'll notice the difference very, very quickly. So, as a little side note, non-training days, I hit around 3,500, 3,600 calories with 350 grams of carbs, and my fat goes way up high to 110 grams. This just kind of accounts for the lack of glycolytic demand. Obviously, training, I burn like a load of calories now because intensity is super high, weight's super high. My ability to push myself is getting even better and better and better. Therefore, having a way higher carbohydrate demand, because we know carbohydrates are the body's preferred source of energy for like anaerobic work, things like that we're doing with bodybuilding, weightlifting, all that kind of stuff. I do 10,000 steps a day, very, very easy. That's just to kind of keep a basic cardiovascular fitness. I do think that cardio does play a very, very good role in an off season, but like in the echelons of an off season. So where I am right now, when food gets above 4,003, 4,004, and appetite gets lower, and generally, like, transport of nutrients will probably get less efficient. You'll be using things a little bit less efficiently. Just because you're pounding things away. Like, I'm obviously going to be using 750 grams pretty damn efficiently, but obviously less efficiently than if I was malnourished like we are in a prep, where you will just utilize everything, like, I'm pretty sure that if I'm the 50 grams of protein I'm having per meal now, if I have that 50 grams of protein per meal when I'm absolutely shredded and nutrients are lackluster, I am very, very confident in saying that I will use more of that protein when I'm shredded and I have that demand for it. Other than that, training split hasn't changed in 11 weeks now. I'm probably going to run this for another 2 weeks. Things are getting heavy. I need to just translate this to my coach a little bit. Like, I'm getting a few like overuse problems. So for example, I hack squat a lot because of the lack of leg equipment in my gym. I really have a hack squat, leg press, and then just barbells and extensions and stuff like that. Then I have to kind of make do. I don't have any like V squats, reverse hack squats, pendulum squats or anything. So I'm kind of getting that knee niggle. And if any of you guys have seen me hack squat, you know, like, I don't squat down to use my glutes and my hams. So normally we would put our knees out to recruit those. I put my knees like straight forward, and I flex my knee. I flex at the knee as much as I can to put my quadricep in the most flexed position it can be, to recruit as much as the quadricep as I can. And doing that does put pressure on the knee. I do wear knee sleeves. That definitely helps, and I warm up very, very well. But I'm just getting that little over. You know, when you get strong and you do it like 1 to 2 times a week, it's understandable that you're going to get a bit of overuse. And I did this. I think I did this with my bench. With my benching, I was doing dumbbells and flat benching pretty much like twice a week. And I just kept going, and ping, tendon went. So that's something that I'm learning this prep is understanding when movements and exercises aren't responding anymore. And generally speaking, some people are absolute freaks and monsters and can just keep going. And I am like that on certain exercises. Most back exercises, I'm a beast. Self-proclaimed beast there, sweet twat. But most back exercises I can progress week on week. But when it comes to pushing, and legs, I'm pretty good. But like, there are a few things that are getting a bit hard now. I'm pretty good in pushing up, but when that does happen, the telltale signs are going to be. Normally you progress by 2 or 3 reps a week, or you progress by 2.5, or weight is going up every single week. If you're getting to that point where you are grinding for that extra rep and you're killing yourself to get that extra rep, that can sometimes be detrimental to the rest of your program. Sometimes progression needs to be a little bit easier. And when it does get super hard and it may even just stop, it may even regress, that is a telltale. And you've been using this movement for an extended period of time. You've got over the neurological adaptation that we need to make. So if I give you a new movement, you need to spend at least 2 to 3 to 4 rotations on that movement in order to neurologically forge that pathway to that exercise. So if I give you like a inclined dumbbell and you've been barbell inclining the whole time, it's going to feel unstable for the first 2 to 3 weeks. But once you nail that stability down and your muscle recruitment, your neurological muscle recruitment is optimized, then you go to progress it. And then if things are like kind of stalling after however many weeks, that's a telltale sign that you do want to swap something out. And I'm just noticing a few signs here and there, not big ones, but I'm taking note of them, and I'm thinking about them in my next rotations, and if that does build up, which it will in the next couple of weeks, I'll be looking to change, and I'm super excited for the next phase, because this phase blew me up. It really, really did. The new stimulus, the new volume, the new frequency, it blew me up, and it may not come over in pictures, but when you feel it, that's the biggest difference. Because being in this game for this is my 6th year now, probably like my 3rd proper year of thinking, let's fucking gain some weight, let's gain some muscle, and then knowing what I'm doing, calorie surplus, all this kind of bullshit. This is like the first I've not noticed difference like this in like the whole career, which is absolutely mental. So I'm very, very happy about that. And yeah, otherwise that's pretty much where I am. Business is good. Online coaching is good. I'm still getting new clients. If any of you guys are ever interested in online coaching, you can drop me an email at joshbridgmanfitness at gmail.com. One of my clients, Louis Hutchison, shout out to you. I don't know if you're going to be listening to this, but if you are, shout out to you. He just placed third in his first competition ever. Got an Arnold invite. He got a British finals invite, and he looked unbelievable. He should have won. Always say that, don't we? He should have won. But like, we've got time to rectify the problems and all the perceived problems of why he didn't get marked down to first, and we can fix that, and we can nail that. So I'm super happy about that. I love the process of cutting people down for stage. Like, you see their mindset, you see their motivation grow, you just see that routine build, and it changes people's lives. It does change people's lives, and I know it's not for everyone. But sticking to a prep to the end, and getting that shredded, it changes your life for sure. It understand you learn motivation, you learn routine, you learn the importance of putting the work in. And Louis definitely done that. So congratulations to you, Louis. I've got another guy 6 weeks out. I've got another guy 2 weeks out. I've got loads of guys competing this year. It's competition season, and it's so exciting. And the team is always growing, and I've got space for people. I've kind of rejigged a few things so I can fit way more people in. I've managed my time better, and it's really an excellent time. So if you want to get on board with the JBF Brigade, jump on board. So let's actually talk a little bit about what I wanted to talk about today, because you guys know the format of these. Like, just a little bit of jibber jabber for the start, and then I'll get the questions in. The three best questions in the latter part of the podcast. But today I wanted to talk about experience and how I feel like I feel like the meaning of life is different for everyone, and I think that certain people will find their niche, or whatever it is, their niche for life, their thing for life. But for me, I feel like I'm put on this earth to experience, and to enable other people's experiences, and to, along with like my other goals, but like for me personally, like what I want to get out of life, versus like what I want to give other people, because I think those are two separate things. Like, I want to give people experience, I want to give people knowledge to not make mistakes that I've made, or even like, I want to make people not make the mistakes that I know people have made, and I've learned from them, and I've not made that mistake because I've learned from them. Like, that's the kind of shit that I want to do. Like, that's in terms of like other people, but in terms of myself, and I think a lot of people can kind of take from this. Like, I want to experience, and I think experience comes in so many forms and so many like feelings, and I think people often get lost in experience, thinking it's just traveling. Traveling has to be done, of course. You want to experience new cultures, but also things like just feelings. Like, I want to experience true love. I have experienced true love. I feel like I'm experiencing that right now. And I want to experience like the best sex of my life. If you guys have ever had the best sex of your life, when you're just at one with that person, and you're both just like, you don't need to be looking in each other's eyes. You just your energy is her energy, or his energy and her energy, whatever's floating your boat at the time, or even multiple people's energy. Like, I feel like that is such a unique feeling of when it's like electric. Like, I want to feel that. Moving on, like, I had a conversation with my mum in Venice. We talked this is going to be a little shock for maybe a few parents out there, but my mum said I should be taking steroids. Not should be taking, but should consider doing it. And here's why. She said, do not be on that deathbed. Do not be there and think, what if? And just her knowing how big of a dream my IFBB Pro thing was, or is, and how big of a dream this bodybuilding career is. Like, she said, don't sit there and don't regret it. I think you'll regret it if you don't try it. And that rung true with me. Like, that, not necessarily about the steroids, but about sitting on your deathbed and thinking, should I, like, would I have, like, what would have happened? And you hear it, we got one life, guys, and it's horrible to think. I think one of my biggest fears in life is death, and to think about death and everything ending, everything around you ceasing to end without having done what you want to do, that kind of scares me. And kind of listening to my mum's words there just kind of it gave me that sense of, yeah, you're fucking right. Like, you're fucking right. Like, I need to experience everything. And I didn't take that like as like, okay, great, I'm gonna get on steroids now. I didn't take it like that. I took the metaphor of what she meant, and I've applied that, and I feel like I've applied that, or I feel like I'm going to apply that to my life, because I'm so young, I've got so much time ahead of me, and there's so many fucking things that you can do to experience that incredible feeling. Have you ever seen the most incredible view and just had those hairs stick up on your arms, and you just had that shiver up your spine just from a view? Like, those are the experiences I'm talking about. Whether that's dancing in Ibiza when I've had a little bit of MDMA and I'm feeling incredible, whether that's standing on a bodybuilding stage and winning because I've worked so fucking hard, whether that's, you know, traveling the world and experiencing the best meal of my life. Like, I crave those feelings, and I want to work for those feelings. I want to be in a position where I don't need to search. Well, I don't need to fight for those feelings. I'm just coming across them in my time, and I want to gear my everything towards that. And I think this is a bit of a random one. I just thought it was quite important when I was just sat there listening to my mum talk about it, and it kind of rang true. Like, we really don't have as much time on this earth, and I feel like making the most of it, not wasting time with being angry and upset with people, and I think, like, I've been a victim of not kind of speaking my mind. Obviously not like thinking, oh, you're a dick. If I see someone who's a dick, and I don't want to tell them that they're a dick straight to their face, because it's not going to get anyone anywhere. But like, maybe like just things and problems that I've had with individuals or a situation, or like I've had these feelings and I've not communicated them. And that whole metaphor of like, don't sit on your deathbed because you're going to regret it. It kind of changed everything for me. And that was only like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I feel like I'd been holding some things away from some friends, like conversations that I need to be had, and just confrontation that most people just hate to do. I don't know why, you know, social constructions, the way we've been brought up, we've been taught to avoid, like we've literally been taught to avoid confrontation at every step. But actually, sometimes confrontation forces us to grow. What's uncomfortable forces us to grow. And I think since then, I've managed to have these conversations with some people, and we sat down face to face, and we had these conversations that I didn't want to have. And it was the best thing I ever did. It was so liberating. It released so much pressure off my chest. Specifically, I'm talking about one of my best friends. I don't think he's going to listen to this, but we had a little bit of like trouble between us. Not trouble, but like just some like things have changed. Like, he doesn't live in this country, and things have changed a little bit. And I don't want to go into a big story about this. It's a big sob story. And like, I should have said something. I said, like, yeah, what's going on? Can we talk about this? And I didn't do it because I was just like, whether I was in denial or just, I don't even know, guys. Like, I'm sure so many of you have been in that situation where you know you need to be saying something, or like you're venting, and you're venting at like your mum or your girlfriend or your parents, and you're thinking, oh, this guy did this and this. Sometimes actually just telling that person, like, if they're your friend, obviously, if it's just some random dude, like, you're not going to go over there and express your feelings to them because it's a bit weird and you don't really need to do that. But if it's like one of your good friends, family, and I truly believe, like, just telling them changes the dynamic of your relationship. You become more open, you become vulnerable. And I think becoming vulnerable is so important in this day and age, because we're in a day and age where we're taught not to be vulnerable. Men are taught to be men, women are taught to be women, and that's wrong. Like, that's plain wrong, in my opinion, how men are seen as, or men are like perceived as, you got to be the strong one, you've got to be this, you can't cry, you need to be the you know, the typical male dominant who's gonna fight off anyone and just be a man. And that whole concept of be a man, or don't be a woman about it, you know, don't be a girl, like, fuck off if you're saying that shit, because it's ridiculous, and you're fortifying social constructs which are pretty much built off of fuck all. And I think we need to be seen as human. Like, we're human. I don't care if you're female or male, we're human. Like, we all have problems, we all cry, we all feel these feels, and being vulnerable allows us to be human. It transcends gender for me. Like being vulnerable and being honest and open and talking about things that you might not want to talk about, and talking about how you were really, really upset when this happened and that happened. Like, no, don't be a man, just be a human and talk about it, because you're going to feel so much better and mentally, emotionally, and that's going to translate physically, regardless of what anyone says. Like if you're in a happy mental place, you're in a happy emotional place, like that will translate physically for me anyway. Anyway, I have no idea how I've just ended up talking about vulnerability when I just wanted to talk about having experiences, but you know how this goes. My mind just like goes crazy on these podcasts. I just talk about anything and everything, and I hope you guys do enjoy it, because I know it can get very sporadic and inconsistent, but it is what it is. I did want to kind of bring in a new section. I wanted to bring in a new section to this podcast, and I wanted to call it Story Time. Will you guess what comes with story time? A story. So I think maybe just like sharing like crazy stories about my past, or like even like, you know, last week or whatever. It's just funny. Like whenever I listen to podcasts, like I love hearing people's experiences, because some people have been in the similar experiences and some haven't. And it's just, I don't know, it's always a good time. So I want to tell you about this one time. This crazy one time. It was me and my dad. I was probably 12 or 13 years old, maybe 14 max. And we were at a West Ham game. West Ham were playing Liverpool, and it was for the FA Cup, and it was the semi-final. It was the semi-final, or maybe the quarter-final, one of the two. And it was the second leg, and we needed to win 3-1. I think we needed to win 3-1 in order to go through. And I was a huge Liverpool fan. My dad was a huge Liverpool fan. We used to go up every single weekend. We used to fly to Barcelona. We used to fly around Europe when they played in the Champions League. We were big Liverpool fans. And really, this game we probably shouldn't have gone to. So we tried to get tickets, couldn't get tickets. My dad's like, fuck it, let's go. We're going to go up to West Ham, and we're gonna get some tickets outside. So we're outside, we talk to a tout. He's like, yeah, tickets, gets it. Fuck, they're in the West Ham end. And I'm just like, oh my God, here we go. So I'm in this bright red Liverpool top with a scarf on. I've got a hoodie wrapped around my waist. My dad's got a Liverpool top on. He's got a hoodie around his waist. My dad's like, put your hoodies on, hide your scarf. We're going into the West Ham end. So obviously people can see the flashes of red hanging down, and we're getting some funny looks. And we're in the heart. You got to picture this now. The crowd is everyone's screaming, forever blowing bubbles. It's crazy. Like we're in the heart of the West Ham fans at West Ham, and we go 1-0 down. That's fine. We can stay quiet. We can kind of stand up, pretend like we're not part of the fans. And like we're in the nasty end. I feel like we're in the middle of the fucking firm. Like I look around, there's a couple skinheads around, there's tattoos. There's obviously, I'm small, and I think everyone's absolutely massive. So I see all these massive people just kind of like keep glancing over, like, are these fucking Liverpool fans on our end? And I'm thinking, oh, Dad, and I keep tapping over, and like, oh, he's looking. And we get 1-1, and we kind of fist bump. We fire our fist like downwards. We're still sat down. We don't stand up. And then we go 2-1 up, and then we kind of stand up, and oh yes, and a few people. You know, a few little fuck off, mate. Fucking sit down, you can't. So you got a few of those flying around. And then the 91st minute, we needed to win 3-1. Steven Gerrard, 40-yard belter to the top left-hand corner. You cannot write it. What do you expect me and my dad do? We get up screaming, fucking come on. And that was it. That was the worst mistake me and my dad could have made. Oh my God, everyone in that crowd just turned around, started screaming at us, shouting at us. Someone was throwing drink. Bearing in mind, guys, I'm fucking 13 years old. People throwing pints at me. People like they didn't give a shit that I was that old. My dad at this point has rolled up the match program, which is like a decent sized book. Yeah, he's rolled it up so it's like a fucking jabbing weapon, and it's hard, and you know what the fucking like a rolled up book is like. Obviously like a softback book, and people are like swinging at him. One guy kicks him. One guy tries to kick me. and me and my dad are running onto the pitch. We run down the steps, people just swinging at us. I'm nearly like tripping over. My dad like scoops me up. People are trying to kick him, trying to swing at him, just calling him all sorts of names. I'm fucking 13 years old. And then the stewards all run towards us. They lift me over the barrier. My dad gets over the barrier. We're on the pitch front, and we're just like running down towards where the halfway line is. And the stewards are like surrounding us. We're getting stuff thrown at us, and we get escorted out of. I don't even know how we got down some. I think it might have been where the Liverpool end met the West Ham end. We went down that that exit hall. We get to the exit, and the steward goes, "Boys, you better run, because those guys are going to come out the other side right now. You need to fucking run." And the guy's face is like worried. He's like, "Run that way. There's a police van that way." And we're like, "Oh, but our car's this way." And he's just like, "Just run. Whatever you do, run." So we get out, we run, and there's, oh my God, we must have got about 7,500 meters away. And I look back, and there's just like, oh my God, there's like 10, 15, 20 people all running out the exit, looking left, looking right, trying to find us. They didn't see us, thank God. We run to the car, and we just drive off, and oh my God. Can you imagine that? I'm a 13-year-old, and these grown men are trying to kick me and fight me because I cheered because Liverpool scored. Like, if you say it like that, that's a bit fucking ridiculous. But I obviously know how people get with their football, and oh my God. What a story. That was absolutely crazy. I've got so many stories like this. Me and my dad have been up to some stuff in the past, and maybe it'll come out in this podcast. So guys, that is literally what I wanted to rant about. On to some questions. Let's get into it. First question comes from JP Bodybuilding. He says, within the bodybuilding and fitness realm, would you rather be liked or respected? So I'm going to go ahead and curveball this and say, I don't actually give a fuck, because like, I'm me, and I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. Like, I just do my own thing. I don't call out, and I don't really feel the need to call out anyone, unless they're kind of pushing it on other people. That's the only time I would call someone out. I kind of did that like a few weeks ago. I don't really care if I'm liked, because like, there's not much to not like, I don't think. I'm not really like outlandish. I don't have like outspoken opinions on people. I don't feel like I'm a love or hate guy. I feel like I'm just a normal dude who most people, if not all people, will just get on with. And I don't really have like controversial opinions. I don't really get too involved in like all this crazy bullshit that goes on. I love watching it, but like, I'm not too worried. And in terms of respect, like, I think everyone should have respect for each other regardless. People say respect is earned, not given. I think that's completely bullshit. I think respect should be given and then lost. I really don't like that saying of like, you need to earn my respect, boy. Like, well, why? Why would you not respect me in the first place? Like, what have I done? I'm just a normal dude trying to do my thing. I get the whole process of losing respect because I do something wrong or whatever, and you know, but why should I have to earn it? Like, why should anyone have to earn respect? I think everyone should have respect and have the ability to lose it. So I think we'll leave that one there. And I don't know, I kind of like that idea of everyone's human, everyone's on the same wavelength, everyone's on the same playing field. We're all gonna die, we're all born, we're all human, we all got the same system inside. Like, why is anyone different from anyone? We're all respected. You can lose it. Next up, Vision Asiri Pereira. How you doing, dude? If you weren't in the fitness industry, what do you reckon you'd be doing now? Well, very, very difficult. I think probably I would be in the police, but like, in hindsight, I would like to be doing something that's helping people now. And probably just want to do that through social media, just because you can reach way more people. I mean, the reality is I could help more people than a doctor can, and they see 30 people a day. You know, like, that is the reality of social media. Like, I can actually do more good than doctors can do. I hope this doesn't come over arrogant, by the way. I'm just trying to be realistic about like social media and stuff. I mean, that's why I kind of like how Dr. Alex has got 1 million followers now, because now he can actually spread positive messages as a doctor to 1 million people. Like, I really like that. Dr. Alex from Love Island, by the way. If you don't watch Love Island, get out of here. I'm joking. But seriously, like, I think social media is amazing, and I think the power we have with it. The connection we can have with it, the spread that we can have with it is truly invaluable. So I think I'd be doing something with social media, and just kind of getting this message out that I'm trying to do, really. Yeah. So next question, Jakob. I think I'm saying that right. Took a listen. Probably sacrifice your name there. Do you believe bad genetics for bodybuilding can be outworked? So I have a few opinions on genetics, and I feel like you can work as hard as you want, but if you haven't got the physique that like genetically looks nice, like you're not gonna you're gonna be a second-rate bodybuilder, if that makes sense. And it's gonna sound harsh, but I know a lot of people that just don't have the genetics. And don't get me wrong, these people can turn pro. These people can probably place in the top 5, maybe a little bit less. We're talking about the guys who have like mediocre genetics but work harder than anyone that there is. We're talking like Branch Warren, like he works harder than anyone, but he's got dead genetics. He never really placed that high, and he never was going to place that high. I honestly believe that there will always be someone who's got better genetic potential than you, and they're working just as hard. Like I think the whole of like, oh, hard work beats genetics, like, yeah, it does, but majority of people who are in this game work hard regardless, like even if you've got the genetics for it, you're still, like, most people are working hard. I think when people like chat shit about Phil Heath saying like, he's just got the genetics, I'm gonna outwork him, like, if you're a pro, you're working hard regardless if you've got the genetics or not. Like, if you're a pro, you need to have put in some serious work to be able to get there, drugs or no drugs. Like, I remember when Kai was kind of scraping at the top with Phil, and people always said, oh, Kai works harder than Phil, and hard work's going to finally beat genetics. Like, there was no chance in hell. There really wasn't, just because, like, hard work beats genetics, but when hard work and genetics come into play together, like, no one's going to beat that. And I think regardless of what sport you're in, the people at the top, they're going to have both. I think that's the truth. And for people to say like, Big Ram's genetics aren't that great, I think if anyone's saying that anyone in the top 5 genetics aren't that great for bodybuilding, like, whatever, because they are in the top 5 in the world, they have good genetics for bodybuilding, because they wouldn't have been able to grow the muscle. I've seen people take gear, train well, eat well, and they've got ultimately shit genetics, and they can't grow. Like, they physically can't grow that much. I've seen that. I'm sure we'll see it again. And I feel like I can say that the guys at the top have both hard work and genetics. I just think, why give yourself the excuse of having good genetics? Work harder than everyone regardless, and the reward is so much sweeter. All right, guys, that is the end of the podcast. I don't know how long I've been talking for. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. This was very much like sporadic and just a rant rather than anything kind of specific, but I just wanted to get something out there to you guys. I wanted to give you guys an update, talk about my feelings, because this comes over, like, this podcast serves me as like a mental purpose as well, just to talk my feelings out. It's kind of weird knowing that like thousands of people are going to listen to this as well. It does. I don't really fully understand that concept. I don't think I really fully understand the people that follow me until I go to things like Body Power, and it's kind of funny, like, oh, I watched you, how was Dubai? I'm like, how did you know I went there? Oh yeah, I put everything I do online. So like, this is just another method for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you soon. Have a good day or night, wherever you are. Peace and love, everybody.